In 1985, rock and roll music, or pop music for that matter, was not a forum for the dark subject of abuse. But an awkward singer fronting a new wave band from Boston brought the taboo topic to light with a groundbreaking song about empowerment. It was one of the most memorable hits of the mid-'80s. Had an acclaimed music video that was both daring and disturbing. When we tell the story of this eerie track, you're likely to hear it with a whole new understanding and appreciation of its brilliance. It has a misheard lyric in it, and there are a lot of urban legends about what this song really means. The most haunting song of 1985 also might be the year's catchiest. It's all coming up next on Professor of Rock. Hey, music junkies. Professor of Rock always here to celebrate the greatest artists and the greatest songs of all time. You know, if you remember Dial MTV back in the day, seeing if your favorite video stayed at number one, or if you even voted in it, you're going to dig this channel of musical nostalgia. Make sure that you subscribe below right now. Check the box so you always know when our stuff's coming up. Jump in the time machine every day with us. And make sure to see if you are subscribed, because we've had a lot of problems lately with whether someone subscribes and it didn't work. It really help us out if you hit the like button, because we're not getting as many impressions as we normally do. So if you do that, we'd appreciate it. Speaking of Dial MTV, I remember when Def Leppard was at number one forever.
I'm so happy the band's doing well. By the way, what's with the hair?
Okay, so thinking back on 1985, great year in pop music, rock music. It was a very exciting time in music. The artistic creativity coming from arguably the peak of the new wave era was really interesting. It was thought-provoking and spiritually absorbing. Artists like Tears for Fears, The Smiths, Talking Heads, Eurythmics, Kate Bush, Dire Straits, and The Cure, they were breaking through to a larger audience, starving for stimulation that was missing from the doldrums of the musical period from 75 to 82. I mean, I like that period, but anyway, there was an abundance of songs with heady themes, such as repressed childhood trauma. Gender role reversal. Social bigotry. Nuclear war. And stalking. I had to say that one. These and other forbidden topics were becoming sing-along conversations that evoked a new perspective on subjects that many labeled as taboo, to address in popular music. Record labels, they were inclined to keep everything, light and bouncy, not wanting to give radio programmers an excuse not to play a particular single. But in 1985, a Boston band with a striking yet shy frontwoman dared to expose the effects of a controlling, abusive relationship. The band was Til Tuesday. It featured lead vocalist and lyricist Aimee Mann, one of my favorites. The song was their undeniable and haunting. Mann went through an incredible ordeal when she was only 3 years old. After her parents' divorce, she was kidnapped by her mother and her mother's boyfriend. She was rescued after her father hired a private detective that found his little daughter in Europe. Young Aimee was returned to her father's home in Boston, and she was reunited with her stepmother and two stepbrothers. Now, this experience, it deeply affected Aimee's childhood, and it complicated the rest of her life. Aimee was so traumatized by the kidnapping that she didn't speak for months at a time. Her parents were worried that she had developed serious psychological issues. Now, when reflecting on that period of her life, Aimee said she remembers feeling trapped on every side. And with the help of a psychiatrist, she gradually felt comfortable with her surroundings. And when she was 12 years old, she began to learn to play the bass guitar. Her family told her that it wasn't ladylike to play a guitar, and for a good year, she resisted the urge to play the bass. Eventually, she was unfazed by the ridicule of her parents. She began to play her brother's bass. Inspired by the music of David Bowie and Iggy Pop, and she was actually particularly motivated by Patti Smith, whom she regarded as a hero. Is someone who showed her that a woman could be something more, break away from conformity and repression. Aimee wanted to pursue music, so she enrolled in the Berklee School of Music in Boston, and she joined a local punk band named the Young Snakes. She left the Young Snakes because they didn't like the songs that she wrote, and then she became a member of the band Ministry in 1981. This is where she met Al Jorgensen. Back in 1981, Ministry and Al Jorgensen, they were not the industrial hardcore band that they are now. Early on, Jorgensen and Ministry embraced the emerging new romantic music genre. They had songs like Revenge and Work for Love. Aimee's short tenure with Ministry is significant because she and Jorgensen had a romantic liaison during that time, and Jorgensen claimed that Aimee told him that Voices Carry was about their dysfunctional relationship.
In the dark, I'd like to read his mind.
Like I said at the beginning of this, there would be several different accounts about what truly inspired the song, including those by Aimee herself. She would know she wrote the song. Aimee formed Til Tuesday in '82 with Robert Holmes on lead guitar, Joey Pesci on synthesizer and keys, not that Joe Pesci, and Michael Hausman on drums. The band became a hot free agent when they won the WBCN Rock and Roll Rumble in 1983. The runner-up in that competition was Boston's Del Fuego, so it was a serious deal. On the strength of their buzz created by their victory on the Rock and Roll Rumble, Til Tuesday, they were signed to Epic Records. The group started to work on their debut album, Voices Carry, with producer Mike Thorne, whose biggest claim to fame at that point was his skilled craftsmanship on Soft Cell's seductive version of Tainted Love. Now, shortly before the recording sessions began for the Voices Carry album, Aimee Mann and Michael Hausman ended their live-in romance. Now, the relationship was rocky at times, and there are many that speculated that Aimee's lyrics on the title track were based on a heated argument between the couple, especially in the dramatic chorus. Voices Carry, that was written about the dark side of romance, behind the walls that people rarely see. Pain and abuse that's literally hushed away. Some of the people close to the band, they insist the song was not conceived from Aimee's brief relationship with Jorgensen or her love affair with Hausman. Mike Thorne is one of those who adamantly states that the line, "Shut up, can't you keep it down," was Aimee singing to another woman, and that the gender was changed from a female-to-female relationship to a male-female relationship because of label pressure. There is validity to Thorne's assertion because of the original lyrics in the 1984 version of Voices Carry. Actually, the original second verse went like this: "When she goes to get her fortune told, she just leaves me out in the cold. If only she would leave me a clue or leave me alone. When I ask her what I should do, I'm on my own."
When I ask her what I should do, I'm on my own.
The bridge in the '84 version read, "She wants me to take her out of the town."
She wants me to take her out of the town.
The lyric was subsequently changed for the final recording to, "He wants me, but only part of the time."
He wants me, but only part of the time.
Aimee conveyed that the song was neither based on her relationship with Jorgensen or Hausman, but it was actually inspired by a female acquaintance. She further maintained that she composed the song from a male's point of view. Hush, hush, Voices Carry. She clarified her actions on a podcast with Conan O'Brien, saying that she wrote Voices Carry after a male friend shared a story with Aimee about a relationship with a girl that didn't want to be affectionate with him in public. Her friend told her that when he attempted to express his feelings for her, like in a restaurant or something, she shot him down. "Keep your voice down. I don't want people to know that we're dating," is what was said. Aimee listened intently to her friend's story because she could relate to what he was feeling. She knew what it felt like to be silenced by someone that she was in love with. Now, according to Aimee Mann, the rewritten bridge in the studio version of Voices Carry that begins with, "He wants me, but only part of the time," that was centered around something very real. something that she was going through in a relationship she was in at the time. The gender swap notwithstanding, Voices Carry, it's a powerful song that disrupted conventional mores about a happily ever after love affair. Instead, Voices Carry exposed the pain a woman feels while entangled in a relationship with a controlling, abusive man. It was one of the first songs that Aimee Mann wrote without any assistance, acutely portraying the misery and the dread imposed in a toxic relationship. The power of the song's evocative narrative strikes sharply from the very opening line. In the dark, I'd like to read his mind, but I'm frightened by the things I might find.
But I'm frightened of the things I might find.
It's sad that when the heroine wants to express her true feelings for her partner, he coldly dismisses her. When I tell him that I'm falling in love, what does he say? Hush, hush, keep it down now, Voices Carry. I always heard it differently. More on that in a second. The emotional potency, though, of Aimee's composition escalates with her towering vocal. By the song's refrain, she unleashes her stifled frustration, and her voice carries louder and louder, defying the belittlement of her selfish, demeaning lover. As the song fades, there is a soft, heartbreaking yearning. When Aimee sings, I wish he would let me talk, you're just left with the feeling that she, like many women in an abusive relationship, stay in the misery instead of leaving it. There's pressure, much more so in the 80s, to conform to the norms and societal expectations and just stick it out, no matter how much it hurts. Perhaps that last subtle lyric is the most poignant part of Voices Carry. As Aimee tries to explain how exasperated she is in the verses. Joey Pesci's synthesizer parts give Voices Carry a really eerie darkness that underscores Aimee's desperation throughout the track. Most profoundly in the musical interlude before the bridge. This definitely made it one of the most haunting songs of the 80s. It just gets underneath your skin. It cuts to the bone. One of the best songs of 1985 for sure, for my money. When the Voices Carry LP was completed, Mike Thorne and the 4 band members, they were torn between Looking Over My Shoulder and Love in a Vacuum as the lead single from the record. After all, Love in a Vacuum was the song that they performed when they won the Rock and Roll Rumble that was their tipping point for success. It was Epic's head of A&R, Dick Wingate, that decided on Voices Carry to be that first single. He really believed in the track. He said it precisely defined what Til Tuesday was all about. Voices Carry was liberating for Aimee Mann in so many ways. Besides being a number 8 hit on the Billboard Hot 100 and a number 14 rock track, it really showcased Aimee's deeply perceptive lyricism. And it provided the stage for Aimee to break away from the shy, scared of the world young woman that plagued her adolescence. The music video for Voices Carry, that proved to be as groundbreaking as the song. As an expose on the harmful reality of emotional abuse. It turned the song into a symbol of empowerment for women. The treatment for the clip, produced by DJ Webster, was scripted around Aimee as an aspiring musical artist in a toxic relationship with a disapproving and demeaning boyfriend. It's played by Coley Holland, who portrayed a prototypical Bud Fox-styled 80s yuppie who only cared about money and social status. In addition to the psychological derision inflicted on his girlfriend, there's a scene in the middle of the video where the boyfriend yells out to Aimee's character, "Why can't you for once do something for me?" And he aggressively pushes her into a staircase as she screams out. That disturbing image, it resonated with women to speak out against physical and mental abuse. Played on MTV. And actually, Til Tuesday won the trophy for Best New Artist in a Video in '85 at the MTV Video Music Awards. Also in '85, Aimee was named Best Female Performer in a Video for acting in Voices Carry. Her performance was praised as being honest and authentic. The video is widely regarded as one of the 100 greatest music videos of all. That was released as the follow-up to Voices Carry. Fortunately, it stalled at number 61 on the Billboard Hot 100. And then the third single, that was Love in a Vacuum. That's a cut that I've always felt should have been a big hit. I guess a great 80s hidden gem. The song failed to generate airplay and it didn't even crack the survey. Actually, I also loved You Know the Rest from the album. It has that biting melancholy haunt of Aimee Mann's sacred voice, I tell you. The title track, it was the lone hit from what ended up being a bona fide gold record. Til Tuesday's sophomore album, that was Welcome Home, came out in '86. It featured What About Love, that inched up to number 26 on the Hot 100, and it mid-charted in Canada, but didn't quite match the success or impact of Voices Carry. After the futility of their third LP, Everything's Different Now, in '88, Til Tuesday broke up and Aimee embarked on a solo career in 1990. I've always felt that Til Tuesday was one of the most underappreciated bands of the new wave era, for sure. Their albums are chock full of great 80s rock and pop. You gotta go back and listen for sure. Speaking of Aimee's solo career, it took 3 years for Epic Records to let her out of her contract so she could start making solo records. Aimee's debut album, Whatever, that came out in '93, a classic, featured the cool number 16 alternative rock single, I Should Have Known. And the deeply heart-wrenching song, Stupid Thing. I'm Was Stupid, the album, that came out 2 years later. But both of her solo records, they didn't sell very well. They weren't pushed by the label much. She was playing small clubs in LA. Some referred to her as a casualty of 80s pop. A series of broken promises and bad luck had really made Aimee disillusioned and distrustful of the record industry. But then in 1999, director Paul Thomas Anderson was inspired by Aimee's music, and he asked her to contribute songs for the soundtrack of his movie Magnolia.
These strange things happen all the time.
Now, the year before, she was on the Jerry Maguire soundtrack with a great song as well. So people were starting to notice her genius. But Magnolia, it made huge impact. The film included dialogue from Aimee's lyrics from her song Wise Up.
You got what you want.
A song also from Jerry Maguire, and her composition Save Me from the movie was nominated for a Grammy Award for Best Female Pop Vocal and also an Academy Award for Best Original Song. The LA Times called Save Me Mann's masterpiece. Aimee described the Magnolia experience as a blood transfusion for her career.
Come on and save me.
In the 21st century, the music of Aimee Mann is much different from the time she was the leader at Til Tuesday circa 82 to 90. Aimee feels she has become a much better songwriter with age, experience, and wisdom. She has a better understanding of how to connect with her and herself, really. For years, Aimee didn't perform any of the old Til Tuesday songs, not even Voices Carry, until the song's 20th anniversary in 2005. This is when Aimee recorded a stripped-down version of her 80s classic. The anniversary reinterpretation of Voices Carry features a lonely, intricate Aimee Mann vocal, with tender backup support in that hush-hush chorus. An arrangement with a sensitive acoustic guitar melody and a melancholy piano accompaniment restored the haunting darkness of the original song. Voices Carry, it's a song for the ages. One of the most distinctive pop hits of the new wave era that blew the lid off of a sensitive hidden subject. Aimee Mann may not have written it to be a female anthem per se, but with its resonant empathy and intuitive sentiment, that's what it became. The song enticed a shift in the power dynamic of traditional male and female role play, long silenced by a controlling, dominating partner. Women were inspired to speak up, confront their tormentor, just as Aimee's character did in that iconic music video, and, freely let their voices carry. It was always a favorite of mine. Though as a 10-year-old kid, hearing it on the radio for the very first time and the first couple of times, I have to admit, I thought she was singing It's So Scary. Years later, I was talking about this song with some friends who also misheard the lyrics as This Is Carrie. It was misheard by quite a few people over the years that I've talked to. But this song forced me to really listen to the lyrics beyond the haunting and catchy synths and the video. The video really put it in perspective. It's a song that someone very close to me said was a motivator to get out of the abusive marriage she was in, even though she was very afraid. I'm so grateful that this song was the catalyst for this amazing person to have the courage to leave and open the door to a whole new life, whole new happiness. Hopefully the song will continue to empower victims to do the same.